My greetings to all of you who will be listening/watching this video. Not only Greater Church of Lucifer brothers and sisters, members, but also independent Luciferians who have not joined the organization, or those who are simply interested for one reason or another in the future and present tense, if you will, of our church. Understand that the Greater Church of Lucifer is made great or greater only by the individual. Buildings, publications, Facebook groups, constant communication, all of these things within the GCOL are tools, but the individual is the one who will make the church great or diminish the church by a lack of motivation, application, or just mere interest. I'd like to really focus everyone towards what is the core essence of the GCOL. As someone who has published and gone through a path of initiation, Luciferianism, my magical true will, my insight, if you will, has led me to this point in everything in life. And I sit here humbled and quite motivated towards the possibilities of our future. But it's very important that each of you consider my words as a call to action, if you will, towards what the left-hand path actually represents and how it is made elite, if you will, in the vanguard of Luciferian philosophy. Let's focus on Wisdom of Eosphoros, a very simple book. Second edition will be published in due course, but everything for application of Luciferianism is found here. Eosphoros, simply the Greek name for the Latin Lucifer, the Dawnbringer, the planet Venus, and also in balance, Hesperos, known in Latin as Vesperus, the evening star. This is the greatest collective symbol, if you will, of our origins, our spiritual aims, and our potential, depending on who we are as individuals. Understand that if you pick up Wisdom of Eosphoros, simply reading it once, either dismissing it because it's just plain simple, or that it resonates with you greatly, that this is a philosophy that I didn't invent, by no means. I simply brought things together over years of my studies and personal initiation and, in result, insight. This simple book, devoid of extensive ceremony or the requirement of know-how of the practice of Luciferian magic, simply beginning with a philosophy. If you read this work, look to identify how this works within your life. What do you use? The 11 points of power. Apply them in a simple, very logical way in your planning and your interaction in accordance to your will in life. And then watch the transformation, the insight, the power, and whatever power is to you, if you can apply the calculation, the strength of will, of thinking things through, and acting with a sense of purpose and an understanding for consequence. This is Luciferian philosophy at its core. The left-hand path is simply a gateway to deciding the greatness of life that you want to experience. It may be more or sometimes different than what you ever intended. It will challenge you. It will make you, at times, you will feel alone. And in those moments of spiritual loneliness, if you will, that is where you discover your great spark of consciousness, the black flame. That is how this divine, this terrible radiance can shine within you. And then that sense of isolation goes away because you discover you're the only thing you need in terms of spirituality, your true will, your daemon. The daemon is a guiding beacon and the personal God of which you balance your conscious actions and thoughts and how you feed that with thoughts. And your perception of everything around you matters in those moments. Luciferianism, as I've mentioned, and is written in Wisdom of Viasphorus, is a modern assimilation of many ancient, pre-Christian pagan beliefs and practices within a modern left-hand path perspective. The image of the adversary as just simply a symbol and an archetype is the motivator, the challenger, the strength bringer, the light bringer, the one who embraces balance in nature, in that all of its predatory, horrific, and beautiful aspects. And then within the self-luminance and illumination of the knowledge you attain and how you apply it. The adversarial current, if you will, if you've heard this term, or the adversary is a mask for our unconscious, for our potential and greatness, and it's also identifiable in nature with the thoughts, the words, how you interact, and the actions you take. It creates that cause and effect. That's the law of Belial, if you're familiar with the Bible of the adversary. The shadow, or darkness, is within all of us. It is our origin. It is part of evolution, our instinct, that which nourishes us, keeps us from harm at every turn, and sharpens our instincts and gut feelings, and in turn with our higher articulation of consciousness, our intellect will balance and illuminate and cause the daemon to become a blazing idea of our potential, answerable only unto ourselves. We recognize the human desire to master and conquer. It's never denied. Luciferians understand that politics, in all of its forms, is ultimately aimed at controlling, which is not a bad thing. But Luciferianism starts with the individual. Now, the individual within that collective, if you will, of your tribe, your community, is in turn your obligation is to balance that with finding a middle ground of what you need, supporting the community's needs or your family or friends, not acting narcissistic to the point of where you don't make good decisions, or you might unfavor those that you claim to care about. Thinking before you do is important, and building that character and allowing yourself to be tested and challenged. And how you react, how you handle that stress and come out in strength creates your own deification, your own potential in godhood. The Greater Church of Lucifer is founded on the philosophy based around the 11 points of power. The Greater Church of Lucifer is not just a building in Houston or somewhere else, but it is a temple, if you will, for every individual who applies the philosophy until it becomes a habit and a way of thinking in your day-to-day life. That is very important. What you see in Facebook consistently or other social media networks where there's connections, vain chatter often becomes a breeding ground for people spinning wheels, either too lazy to embrace their philosophy or responsible enough to understand that every moment you waste is either diminishing who you could be, who you are, or you're not wasting those moments and you're building that. No one can do that all the time, of course. You have to have areas to communicate with like-minded people and to explore different facets of the philosophy that you might not have considered. The GCOL should inspire you as an individual to do that with your success, just in shining as who you are as a person, not in a save the world type of way, but those who you care about and your brotherhood and sisterhood of the GCOL. That is how it is successful. Not in publications, people arguing online, people being friendly for a period of time. It doesn't matter. What matters is we have the common courtesy and respect to interact with balance and then focus on our lives. The whole purpose of this video is and message is as an archon to really focus and encourage potential Luciferians and practicing Luciferians to take that step beyond your comfort zone and to apply it even when no one's looking and even when it's difficult. There will be moments of weakness. There will be moments where you question who you are, what you're doing. You overcome those things by understanding how that spirituality has developed within you. It doesn't matter how you approach it. And it doesn't matter what you think of other religions. What matters is what you do. And you may have to do that in secrecy, in your, within the social contract of your environment. It might not be beneficial for your career to let people know you're Luciferian. But if you're in a more of a liberal place that's accepting of ideas, then great, if that's a potential. Luciferians can evolve, and this philosophy can go into this, well, as Jeremy Crow, my fellow Archon Jeremy Crow put it, the new Luciferian era manifests through what we do, who we are, and our potential and future. Believe in yourself. Confront your weaknesses. Test your strengths. Accept responsibility for all those relationships in your life and the things that you want to do. Balance darkness with the inner light. You're not seeking light in some sky, in some concept of Kabbalistic deities. You are embracing that light within. It must be cultivated. And those inspirations must be fueled and fanned for it to grow as a terrible radiance of personal power. Understand that liberation is a very important step in your early Luciferian potential. This type of practice via illumination is a continual thing. It's not just a grade or a step you go through one part of your life. You're doing these in cycles. It becomes a part of you. And apotheosis is a continual path. You don't just rise in apotheosis and claiming that you are a personal, you're your own God. Look what I've done. And then you stop. And you don't use it as an excuse to get over materialistic about things you feel that are very important. You have to balance that with, okay, who am I as a person, my character, applying these 11 points of power, how's that transformed me? If you lose material things, so what? You can always get those back. The most important thing is enjoy this life. Respect those who have offered to you and supported you, and do the same for them. Common courtesy. Before magic is applied, Luciferianism, or in any of my pathways or gateways into the grimoires, you have to create this change, this truly left-hand path, sinister transformation as a Luciferian, by going that path that is against the mainstream, if you will, the main flow of this world. That means you have to think, you have to challenge, and you have to do. The Greater Church of Lucifer will continue as what we established it as, or to become. But it can only go so far with all of you. And it can grow, but you have to become the living example of what we do. So no matter who you are, how long you've been applying this, if it speaks to you, then you're potentially unique. You're potentially an individual. Use that and enjoy it. Test your strengths. Challenge and overcome your weaknesses. And offset that with the potential as a manifestation of Lucifer. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing the success in so many of you.